Well, welcome everyone. I'm David Ford. I'm the Global Chief Communications Officer at Ogilvy, and I'm thrilled to have joining us today Ogilvy's now, I think, 8 months in as Global CEO, Andy Main. So thanks for taking some time out of your, what we know is a really busy schedule to chat.
Yeah, David, thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here today with you and our whole team.
Well, I think back last summer when it was announced that you were coming to Ogilvy, a lot of people were intrigued to see kind of your move from Deloitte Digital to come over to Ogilvy, one of the most iconic creative agencies. So now that you've had a chance to settle in and you've started to make some moves, talk to us a little bit about your ambition for Ogilvy as we kind of take the agency into the future.
Yeah, so super question. And so I mean, we have got so much to be proud of in Ogilvy, like our legacy, the power of our brand. But like everything in life, you need to change and adapt to the market situation. And one thing we're doing is to take Ogilvy forward to be one of the world's leading creative partners and platform for growth for our clients. And if we do that for our clients, we'll obviously do that for ourselves. So taking Ogilvy forward with that spirit around this growth mindset of our clients' business, but also of our own business, is very much what we're looking to get done.
No, that's great. And I think, David Ogilvy, I think you famously said at some point that change is in our lifeblood. So I think that's, it is important for us to always be kind of moving forward and adapting and evolving. I'm curious from your perspective, what do you see as Ogilvy's kind of core differentiator in the marketplace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it comes back to everything Ogilvy has stood for ever since David Ogilvy invented Ogilvy. And that has been the power of creativity. And if not but for creativity, then we really can't be what Ogilvy stands for. And when we think about creativity, it's been used a lot clearly for communications and marketing campaigns and talking to billions of people around the world when you add it all up. But creativity nowadays has to be applied to new disciplines such as business strategy. So how do I disrupt a marketplace to my benefit? That requires creativity. Or how do I use data and algorithms to discover things and insights about people's customers that will give me a benefit when I do talk to them, and everything in between. So creativity has to be the lifeblood of our business now into the future. It's the thing that makes Ogilvy different. And I just ask that everybody has a role to play in creativity, and practice that with curiosity, ask the right questions, deliver the right insights to our clients to demonstrate one's creativity. If we do that, then that really becomes what sets us apart from our competition. But back to your point, we need to change the way we do business. We need to team creativity up with some of its friends. And if we team up creativity with this whole thinking of growth and the speed to value about that growth, then best creativity and the fastest speed to value as a unique combination, I think in turn sets Ogilvy really apart vis-a-vis our competition. And that's what I'm really looking forward to that our organization does as we move forward.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk a little bit about, as you talk about growth a bit, I think in the advertising space in general, there's that term kind of agency of record that often gets thrown around. Mm-hmm. And I know that you have a particular view on that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being an agency of record, right? Because that has a very sticky client relationship. But I think one thing that's been happening in Ogilvy and also in our industry is that AOR relationships, we've not been able to articulate properly to our clients the value of the work we do. Because you get an AOR and you do the work, but are we truly having conversations with a client to say, yeah, I helped you acquire X 100,000 more customers at this cost of acquisition? Have I increased the average value per customer by Y%? Have I helped transition low value customers into high value customers to increase your profitability as a business? Maybe not. Because with an AOR relationship, we don't have that mindset, I observe, I feel. And what we need to do is to actually start talking like that to our clients. Because there's been too many cases recently where we've been, unfortunately, kicked out of clients because we've been unable to talk about the value we have delivered. Look, we've delivered value, no question about it, but have we been able to describe, communicate what that value is? No, we've not. So I would much rather think that we're an agency of growth, an AOG, as opposed to an agency of record. And we build into our Ogilvy client experience. So if you're one of our clients, you should experience from us not only the most amazing work, the best creativity, and the fastest speed to value, but you should get a discussion at least monthly on the value that we are delivering day in, day out. So we become that partner for growth and the client values what we do. And we need to make that a compulsory part of the Ogilvy client experience. Otherwise, we're going to be getting kicked out of clients because we can't articulate what we do for a living on behalf of our clients.
I love that. I think that agency of growth, that AOG, I feel like that's something that will start to stick a bit in the market. I'm just curious, back to just to take a quick step back on the focus on creativity. Obviously, you from in your previous role kind of led the way of seeing kind of the consultant industry invest in creativity. So it's clear that I think you understand the value that kind of creativity plays. But I'm just interested in, having been on one side of the fence and now being on the other, any kind of any learnings or perspective on kind of on where some of the benefits and challenges that are.
Yeah, I think where it came from before, creativity was applied more to being creative with technology. And it was more around the creative digital experience as opposed to what we do in addition, which is the creative brand experience, the creative branding, and the creative communications. And, where I came from before, plus, the likes of Accenture Interactive, I think Accenture has been much more aggressive in taking creativity into business strategy, brand strategy to complement creativity with technology. But I do view that Ogilvy has a leg up, particularly with creativity applied to brand strategy. And if we can connect brand strategy in the territories to help a client occupy so they grow their business with the other aspects of creativity and how one communicates, how one builds a digital experience to show what you offer, and you put all that together, then you get a different proposition from Ogilvy relative to our consulting competitors. I do think that's a key difference.
So you mentioned kind of the difference between where Ogilvy competes with the consultancies. Where do you see Ogilvy kind of competing within kind of the agency ecosystem?
Yeah. So I think, to say it hopefully plainly, is that creativity, you either have it or you don't. And I think with Ogilvy, it's been part of our DNA, it's part of our muscle that we've had for decades. And I think, to headline it, Ogilvy is much more creative than the consultancies when it comes to solving our clients' business problems. But when it comes to the agencies, we have much more substance in terms of our approach, our business acumen, our range of capabilities compared to your average agency competitor. So I think that's a fair way to describe it, is that we're much more creative than the consultants, and we've got much more substance from a business perspective than your average agency competitor. And quite honestly, I think there's a moment in time for the next probably 12, 18 months, where that window is open for us to occupy that space, to keep the others out. So we've got to move fast, right, to take advantage of this and just not admire it, right? We've got to take the action to do something about it.
Well, I think just on that very point, and you talked about kind of the fact that Ogilvy it has a lot of substance there. I think over the past couple of years, Ogilvy has kind of broken down some silos and showed up in a more integrated way as kind of as one Ogilvy to our clients. But as you said, we have a lot of substance, a lot of expertise. And I think since you've started, you've been focused on sending, I think, a clear signal to both clients and talent in the marketplace about how Ogilvy has 5 creative growth businesses that are really there in terms of advertising, PR, experience, growth and innovation, and health as kind of the 5 pillars or centerpieces. Talk to us a little bit about why you think that focus on those kind of 5 key areas is important.
Yeah, no, good question. So maybe just a little group exercise for the moment. If you're sitting in front of, I don't know, a notepad, or you can type or something, maybe if you're listening to this, why don't you write down and just take a few seconds to think about it? What services or offers from Ogilvy have you taken to market just in the last 12 months, in the last year? What have you taken to market? So is that advertising, branding, content? Have you done experience work? Have you done PR? Have you maybe done some growth and innovation, which might be under the Ogilvy Consulting brand? Have you talked about health? So which ones of these have you personally done or offered a client in the last 12 months? So just take a moment to write that down. And I think the answer, consistently from around the world, is that we as Ogilvy are only taking 1 or 2 things from that list to our clients. And the reason that is happening is that, and it's a human instinct, you're basically taking to a client what you're comfortable selling based upon your own skills as somebody who sells or develops business, or somebody who's delivering an existing relationship. If you're trying to cross-sell something, you take what you're used to, right? That's a natural human instinct, and nothing wrong with that, clearly. But what we're doing with our 5 businesses is making sure that all of us now represent the complete breadth and depth of what Ogilvy has to offer. So if, for say, in the past, right, you only took advertising to a client, well, what about all the other stuff, helping that business innovate? So you can do the future advertising campaigns on new products or services that a business might introduce to the marketplace. You only get access to that advertising if you do the upfront growth and innovation to prime the pump for yourself. Or what if a client has new offers coming to the marketplace that requires a new digital experience? You only get access to that digital experience if you have that upfront discussion too, to prime the pump of what new things should that business introduce to the marketplace. So my ask, right, through these 5 businesses is that we all become very familiar. Like, it's almost like price of admission. You get employed, you get paid, you have a great career at Ogilvy if you understand in great detail all the things in the Ogilvy growth store. And you yourself will be an expert in many of the things in the growth store, but the stuff you're not the expert in, guess what? You call your pals in the businesses where you need to show up as a team to represent all of Ogilvy. So we're selling the whole thing, not just the bits that you yourself are comfortable and familiar with. So that's why we've done this, David, is to really increase what we talk about a client that produces a bigger market, that helps us grow a client's business and therefore grow our own business.
That's great. And I think, the other piece there that I think is, I'm curious of your perspective on, is how does that impact people and talent? Obviously, because then it also gives them just a clear sense of how they can, you've talked about, growing our clients' business, but also, helping people grow their careers. I know is other thing that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, extremely passionate about this whole thing. Um, because Ogilvy has great depth and breadth of what we offer the marketplace. And maybe in the last several years, we as a people have tended to specialize in the things that we clearly are comfortable with, right? That's a really good thing to do, is become an expert in something. But we built our business with 5 businesses and 5 expert groups. And each and every one of us will have a home base from where we are basically stationed. But through your career plan, your career conversations, hopefully everybody's done your career conversations and your career plan, you get to basically plot your adventure within Ogilvy. You can experience more things in the business you love, or you can experience things across businesses. Or if you want, you can specialize only, if that's really what makes life interesting for you. But the cool thing about Ogilvy is we've got incredible talent across our whole network, but we can be doing more to unify, strengthen, and scale what we offer our clients by having our people learn new things, more things, be curious about new things, and then take that as a team to our clients. And then that helps us bring a fresh perspective. It helps us all be more curious, more creative, and actually have a lot more value that we deliver to our clients. So this whole Ogilvy transformation has been designed not only with our clients in mind, but our people in mind, to do amazing things, not only for their own careers, for your teammates, but also for our clients.
That's great. And listen, I think that, and you know, you mentioned kind of the change from an organizational perspective, but I think the past year in 2020 and into 2021 was really a year defined by change in many ways, and change and resilience, I feel like, are two common themes that we hear a lot about. I'm curious from a people perspective, but also from a business perspective, how has COVID affected Ogilvy, or affected kind of the way that you even approach, your role as the leader of the organization?
Yeah. Well, super question, right? And certainly hope everyone is staying safe and sound, right, in their own situations. But I think let's start just with our business. I think the pandemic has actually brought us closer to one another, and also closer to our clients. And I think it's brought us closer to each other, because we're basically operating through sort of video conferences. I think our time as a group of people is probably used a lot more productively than it was in the past. And hopefully that's also giving all of us the chance to have like mental health breaks, well-being breaks, which if you're not doing, do it, because that is super duper important to basically operate and under this whole video conference culture that we've all established. But I think also too, it's really helped us tune business practices to be much more agile, faster, inventive in how we do our work. And I've just been super impressed with the creative product that we deliver day in, day out. I don't think that's really suffered that much. I think in many cases it's got a lot better, because I think with this whole video conference culture, you've got the chance to like think between video conferences, between Zooms or Teams, and then come back with, here's what I've thought of, and then have your team meeting to then advance it to get like even better creative product than maybe it was if we were together. But I think too, I think this whole empathy that the business has shown our people has just been super good. I don't think our business has forced people to do things. And I think our people that work in the business have said, well, here's what I'm capable of doing, giving my personal situation to have my home life and my work life basically exist in harmony, to then be your best self when you show up for work. So I think that's really what I would underscore the learnings from the last kind of 12 months being.
I think that's I think you're spot on in terms of the importance, I think, of empathy. I think we've all had to take a step back to kind of think about how we're experiencing things and kind of how we engage with each other. And
Hmm.
I think also to learn to be to be patient as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think that's been so important. Um, One of the things that's really about Ogilvy in particular, and as someone who's kind of has come into the organization over the past year, Ogilvy, I think, is an iconic founder brand, and I'm just curious if there's what you've kind of learned from David Ogilvy's legacy and how you're planning to try to keep a bit of that alive within
Hmm.
Ogilvy as you take the organization and move it into the future.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I truly appreciate about David Ogilvy, and I have looked at all the videos on YouTube David Ogilvy. Have read a number of the books. Actually had a chat with Herta Ogilvy as well. So
She's amazing. She's such
yeah,
a full of
incredible,
life and
incredible
energy.
person. And it was super important for me to get into the psyche as best as I could of David Ogilvy and to hopefully carry that forward in spirit, as well as some of the actions we take to take our business forward into the future. But one of the things that struck me was his quote about being giants, and I really do think that is critical, right, to our future, because we want to be giants for ourselves, like not just for hiring people, which I think was the quote, but also giants how we develop, nurture, grow people, how we're giants on behalf of our clients, which indicates like maybe sort of bravery and curiosity, pushing boundaries, right, to occupy that space. But I also think he also said if it's not creative, it doesn't sell, right? So we need to also just keep that in mind, that we need the absolute best creativity to carry us forward, because I think that is still very, very true in today's marketplace. And I don't know if this is a real quote or not, or somebody just made up for Cannes one year, but there's a quote going around to say, to be interesting, you got to be interested. So I don't know if he said that or not, or somebody just made that up, but it's totally true, right? I mean, you've got to be an interesting group of people, an interesting person. You got to have good conversation. You got to have good insights. You got to bring clients and ourselves things we may have never thought about through curiosity. All that, right? All that makes you interesting, and and therefore that shows that you're interested in someone else's situation, which may just be another way of saying be empathetic to to ourselves and our clients. Um, but I think that bridges what David Ogilvy said to what we're doing right now, to really push the boundaries of curiosity, insights, creative expression, creative thinking, that bridges David Ogilvy to the now and the future by just being like interesting to ourselves and our clients, to then be interested in someone else, right? That's really, I think, what that comes down to. So that type of thing really sort of makes me super interested in the psyche of David Ogilvy and how it applies to Ogilvy today and into the future.
That's great. And I think just to kind of as we get ready to close out here, I think from one of the things that you were talking about at the very beginning, the ambition of being kind of the best growth creative growth partner and platform for our clients. There's also the other David Ogilvy quote of don't aim out of the ballpark and aim for the company of immortals. I think that kind of big ambition, I think, is something that I think is still very much kind of alive
Mm-hmm.
within Ogilvy, and is I think captured in a lot of
Yeah.
the ambition and strategy that you've put in place over the past 8 or so months. So it's definitely an exciting time to be at Ogilvy. Any last thoughts that you want to leave us with as we round things out?
Yeah, sure. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone listening into this. I talk with Horatio very frequently, but we have an official check-in every couple of weeks on how things are going in Latina. And I've just got to say that the business in Latina is incredible. Of many of our regions around the world, the region you're all part of is extremely hungry to do super well. I think that shows in how dynamic you all are with each other and with our clients. And I'm very pleased with how the whole business is being knitted together. Not just the creative product, but just how we're adapting to the new business model in Ogilvy with our 5 businesses and 5 expert groups. So I can't thank you enough for just embracing that. I also want to say thank you for working with some of our delivery and operation centers, such as the one in India, to get like things like digital marketing and account-based marketing expertise. So the more of that we can do, the better. I know that our team in Brazil works with our team in Dallas, for example, to do things like digital product design development. So that's like super duper. So really all I'm saying is the fact that you're building relationships with each other in Latina, but also working outside the traditional geographical boundaries of the business within the bigger Ogilvy platform, that platform for growth, to me is just wonderful evidence that you are all with the program, with it, doing it. And the results of the business, I think, speak for themselves, that the growth you've achieved in 2021 thus far has just been great, has been super good. And I can't thank you enough, and also congratulate you for the great progress to date. So David, that's it, just to round off with a big, massive thank you.